It's the battle of the divas. So, are you on Team Adele or Team Swifty? There's a battle heating up online. I'm joined by the Sun's entertainment gurus here. Let's start with our entertainment editor, Mark Daniel. Mark, Team Swifty, Team Adele, where do you fall?
I'm actually on both teams, Brian. I think it's a really exciting time for music fans. Anytime Taylor Swift releases a record, it's a big deal. But also Adele, she hasn't released new music in 6 years. So I'm excited for 30 as well. Jane, you've seen them both live on stage. Do their fans cross over?
I think their fans do cross over, but if I had to generalize, and I know you guys want me to, I'm going to say there's a younger female contingent for Swifty, whereas Adele, I think, crosses many generations. And I also think it's too bad that we're pitting these two wonderful women against each other, because let's face it, if it was two male superstars, would we be doing this? Probably not. And they're also apple and oranges. You know, Swifty's album is a re-recording from 10 years ago, whereas Adele's a fresh album about her divorce, having her son with her ex. I think they're very different projects.
I had no time to choose what I chose to do. So go easy on me.
All right, let's go to Danette. Wait, Danette, where are you at? Are you on Team Swifty or are you on Team Adele? Or are you like, Jane, you don't understand why and Jane, it's their fans doing this battle. So
I understand, yeah.
Where do you go?
I don't think, I like both, of course. I feel like Adele is just so cool and relatable, and Swifty, just her songwriting speaks for itself. Can't we just like both? Can't we just appreciate two talented, awesome women and not pit them against each other? That's what I want. But at the same time, I feel like Taylor's fans, the Swifties, they're in a world on their own. Like, they are scary. They are scary and protective of their girl. So I think Taylor knows that and uses that, but doesn't let us know she's using that, if you know what I mean.
I love you guys so much.
And they bring it to the fight. So does Brad Hunter, who I think is probably going to tell us he hates them both.
No, actually, no. I like Adele, but I see the difference between Swifty and Adele as I see Adele as Rolling Stone magazine, and I see Swifty as Tiger Beat, moaning about her myriad teen romances. Jake Gyllenhaal is the most recent victim. I mean, the thing is Jake Gyllenhaal's now been being battered by the Swifties over a bloody scarf, which could be a stand-in for, take a guess. But the fact is that look at the boyfriends: Harry Styles, Taylor Lautner, and on Joe Jonas, Tom Hiddleston, just on and on and on and on with Swifties. And it's always their fault, the breakup, that they've always torn her heart out. So, and I like Adele's music better.
I think Brad knows more about Taylor Swift's boyfriends than Taylor does. Jane, you mentioned something I want to ask you about. You said that Adele's fans are a bit older in general. I think if I went to a Taylor Swift concert, and I'm with you, I like them both, but if I went to a Taylor Swift concert, Jane, people would look at me and say, "Oh, did you bring your daughter?" If I went to an Adele concert, they'd say, "What's your favorite song?"
Yeah, I think you're spot on about that. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think Adele's album already pushed out Red this morning within seconds of going on the charts. So I kind of think at the end of the day, Adele's going to win this battle sales-wise. I mean, we are talking about a 10-year-old album. The other thing that Brad touched upon, Jake Gyllenhaal, this was a 3-month-long relationship 10 years ago. Let's put this in perspective, right? And Adele has written about a 5 or 6 year marriage and the son that came out of that. These are very different things. So to me, again, it's apples and oranges. But yes, I agree with Brian that she crosses a lot of generations. If you watch that spectacular Griffith Observatory from LA concert on Sunday night, she had like Leo DiCaprio on his feet. Oprah Winfrey was in the audience. I could go on about the start. she's a heavy hitter in Los Angeles and in the industry. I'm not sure Taylor Swift would bring out that same grouping.
I want to ask about voice, and I'll let whoever takes this up. I think that Adele probably has the better vocal range. Taylor Swift is a genius at marketing and knows how to, she has a great voice as well. Her songwriting is top notch, but she's figured out how to tap into whatever's going on. Anybody agree, disagree, have a different view?
The true genius in Taylor Swift is her marketing ability. And oddly enough, although, as our friend Jane said, an apples and oranges situation, not unlike Madonna before, because no one would say, besides Nelson, that Madonna has a tremendous voice or anything like that. And she is a very good entertainer, but the key to Madonna is always hitting the nail on the head at that time, at that place. And so that's who I liken Taylor Swift to.
I think what's really interesting about them both is, Taylor Swift became famous as a teenager, and she's been able to sort of navigate her young life and become a star that can appeal to older folks as well as her young fans that grew up with her. And in terms of Adele, what she's doing from a sales perspective, as Jane touched on, is something that just hasn't been done in the 21st century. Her last album, 25, was the biggest selling CD in almost 20 years, which is pretty phenomenal when you think about how many people are actually buying physical albums. Taylor's Red, which just came out last week, was the biggest vinyl sales album since 1991. So that too is also an impressive feat.
I thought you were dating yourself when you said number one for CD sales. And I thought, does he know that we're not buying CDs anymore? But okay, those are impressive stats. I'll end this off with you, Danette. This is kind of a faux feud. You alluded to it, that it's not the women who are feuding, and it's not the media doing this. It's the fans, perhaps driven by the Swiftie fans, and then folks like us pick up on it and we talk about it. But does this actually help both women with their music sales? Should they be doing a duet? Would that go over well?
I think maybe because their fan bases are so different, a little bit. I think that they're both going to do well. Like it was said, Adele doesn't need to market herself. Her voice that's the seller. Taylor, I think she relies on her fans a lot and their bad behavior to kind of help her with that. And her video, I don't know if any of you caught that 10-minute video. Yes, I watched it and I did not cry like my daughter did. It was really good. And I think it was kind of brilliant how she cast an actress that plays like a high schooler, but she's actually like, I think 19 or 20. So it shows this kind of innocence. And that's what it is. Like, she started off as this innocent girl, and she likes that, I think, portrayal of herself when maybe she's not so innocent 10 years later, and she's still bringing this stuff back up, and Jake's back in the press. Poor Jake. So yeah, I think she likes to play the victim. So maybe she's not so innocent after all.
So you guys, want to talk to you about something.
So, Danette, you didn't answer the duet question, so I'll ask you again and then get everyone else to respond. Should they do a duet, would that be killer? Yes or no?
Yes, always. Two women like that, yes, people would love it.
Jane?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that Adele would blow Taylor out of the water vocally.
All right. Mark?
For sure. I'd buy the vinyl for that, 100%.
And curmudgeon Brad.
I'm with Jane, 100%. Bad idea.
And with that, we will leave final thoughts to the audience. Let us know down below. Are you on Team Adele? Are you on Team Taylor? And do you want to hear that duet? Drop a comment down below, share this on social media, and of course, subscribe to our channel.